This is the African Burial Ground Monument. We're going to take a trip inside, BLACKGEO. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Like and subscribe to my channel, BLACKGEO, BLACKGEO. We showcase Africa to the world. Please like and subscribe. Can you imagine? This place was under 34 stories of level. These are the ancestors of the first colony, New Amsterdam. And I had somebody tell me, do I represent the FBA? Before, we represent the ancestors who first touched the soil. Africans. These were Africans who came from West Africa, Central Africa. And these are the people who dedicated their life and their time to make sure this place exists. Because without their hard work, they would have built a 34-story building worth $276 million. So we give praise to the people who fought so hard to keep this place intact. It all happened in 1991. The plans were to build a $276 million building, 34 stories, but archaeological field testing needed to be completed. What was found was 400 burials unearthed, providing evidence about health, diet, gender, physical condition, and cause of death of the first Africans in the New Amsterdam colony, which we call New York City. From the past they rise. We honor our ancestors. We tell them that we know what you went through, and we're here to tell your story. We must show love to Cyril and his dream. In his own words, these bones are bones of the shoulders we stand on to this day, whomever they are. The burial ground dates back from the mid-1630s to 1795. Free and enslaved Africans were not permitted for burial ground churchyards within New York City. This was the final resting place, spanning 6.6 acres, or about 5 city blocks. Begins in 1600s when the Dutch West India Company brought African slaves to the New Amsterdam colony, which is now New York City. England took control of New Amsterdam in 1664 and renamed it New York. Slavery continued. Under British control, majority of the African slaves came from West and Central Africa. The original name during the 1600s for this sacred place was Negroes' Burial Ground, making it one of the first land of which New York Africans owned. Studies showed that 9% of the burials were children under the age of 2. Life at this time, people dealt with malnutrition, delayed bone development, back-breaking labor, and frequent illnesses. These people lived in poverty, taking little to nothing to the grave. By 1730, next to Charleston, South Carolina, New York City was the biggest city for slave holdings. Many artifacts found throughout the burials were traced back to the Kingdom of Mali, the Kingdom of Ghana, Nigeria, and also surrounding countries like Congo. Archaeologists, historians, to this day, still argue about the origin of these people, but the general public stems just like me. These are the original Africans from the New Amsterdam colony, the place we call New York City. Like and subscribe. When they tell you New York City is not an African city, you better tell them to come down to the African Monument Museum. The African Monument down here, burial grounds. This is an African city. After the Dutch lost the colony in 1664, the number of individuals who relied on labor of enslaved people increased over the next 200 years. White New Yorkers created laws that prohibited enslaved people to trade, travel, or purchase alcohol without permission. In no difference from the rural South, enslaved Africans were only restricted for rooms, cellars, attics, and tiny crawl spaces. Many fled the homes of their enslavers, and some revolted, as in the year of 1712. It's evidence that the first Africans to New York are buried here, 25 years after the first slaves arrived during 1640 to 1650. History will show that most people buried at this burial ground was born in Africa, and by the artifacts, customs, and traditions learned, Africa was important to all New York blacks, even if they had never seen it. Little Africa, the name given to several black communities in New Amsterdam. It was first given to what is now called the Five Points, an area that was granted to Africans by the Dutch West India Company. This area was also known as Stagtown and remained a mostly African American area until the mid 1900s. And who was Paul Cuffey? Abolitionist, businessman, famous for trading and transporting. But his transport of 38 African Americans from the USA to Sierra Leone on his lone ship is what he's known for. During the Revolutionary War, his ship was captured by the British and Paul Cuffey was imprisoned in New York City. He was freed after 3 months, becoming one of the wealthiest men of African descent. Slavery in New York City, a book by Leslie M. Harris, is a must-read and current read about the untold story of the second largest city of slave holdings. She quotes that European visitors couldn't believe the amount of Negro slaves in New York. The book further explains about the first slave auction that happened between Wall Street and Pearl Street during 1655. It also explains about Washington Square Park, which was originally 130 acres of farmland owned by free Africans. New York did not officially abolish slavery until 1827, but during the 1800s and 1900s, the city overcame huge development of which deliberately erasing evidence of the sacred African burial ground, and more than 15,000 people of African descent were found beneath Lower Manhattan. Slavery played a huge role in the development of New York Colony, in which we call New York City. And laying between Duane Street and City Hall, many New Yorkers and visitors don't even know this place exists. We here at the BLACKGEO, we do not forget our ancestors. That's one thing we don't do. The past is our future. And what flows at the end of this beautiful sacred burial is a waterfall. You must come here. If you want to know African history in New York City, this is the burial place of the first ancestors of the colony of New Amsterdam. Like I said, BLACKGEO is going to give you so much culture, so much history to know about. We did not know we was going to end up here. We are at the sacred African burial monument here in New York City, Lower Manhattan. Please like and subscribe. There's so much to see, and it's going to be so much to know if you do your own researches about your own city. There's many places like this. Eva, I just met this beautiful woman, Eva. I was sitting here getting my sacred message on, and she came up and spotted me, and she wanted to know what was my feeling about this sacred place. But I want to know her feeling about this sacred place.
It feels very special. I'm on my lunch break right now, so I wanted to come here and kind of bring my friend. She's over there. We're just here. This is her first time here. This is my second time here. And for some reason, it just felt like a very historic location that it made me draw to it. It made me want to come and just kind of be at peace with the sun. It's a beautiful day out here. So I know that some of our loved ones were here. They served. They were lost. Babies that was aborted. It was a lot of different things that happened. And I'm just so glad to be in a historic location and just be a part of this scenery, so I know a little bit more of where we come from, because it's very important.
And what does it feel just to have this type of place in this city of New York City, knowing that there's sacred African history, especially from the new colony, New Amsterdam? That was the new name before it changed.
It feels very pioneering. It feels very, it makes you feel good. I'm a licensed esthetician. I work at Heyday right around the corner, so it's very convenient for me to come here. Yes. Also, I'm on Touch. My Instagram is touch.by.eva.
Okay.
On IG, if you guys want to come into Manhattan and get an amazing facial,
love that. Love that. Black business.
Definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
And
do you recommend your friends to come here too?
Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely, I definitely do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And do you know there's so much other African places like this, sacred places, especially like Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx, and a few other parks in Brooklyn also. This is not the only place of African history, so there's many places in New York you should tell people they should check out.
Thank you for letting me know that.
Yes. And where are you from, by the way, in New York City? Tell my subscribers.
Staten Island, New York.
Hey, like I said, for the last person from Staten Island, it's a forgotten borough, but look at that. She has more love for this city than have the people who call themselves New Yorkers. Look at that. So please like and subscribe to my channel. It's the BLACKGEO. We represent Africa to the world, and we show the world to Africa, especially Black history. I just came from the Schomburg Institute, you know, of culture, Black culture.
Okay.
And before you come here, you please stop at the Schomburg, because it has so much history about Black culture. Okay. All right, so wave at my channel, say bye.
Bye, channel.
Yeah. Make sure to visit the History of Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, and also African Burial Ground National Monument and Museum. This is the BLACKGEO. Real content, real views, anytime, anywhere. Like and subscribe. Please tell a friend. We're coming to a city near you. BLACKGEO. And we out here.